Alright, so this is hard to talk about. But I saw your channel, and it felt, I don't know, safer maybe? Like people might actually understand instead of just saying I'm being paranoid. It started a few months ago, just after school started back in September. I'm Emma, by the way. I live in a suburb just outside Philadelphia, near Ridley Creek State Park. Nothing ever happens here, you know? That's what made it so much worse. So, I was at the mall with my friends, just the usual Saturday thing. We were at the food court, and I took a snap of my pizza to send to my friend Ethan, who couldn't make it. I didn't even think about it, but my Snap app was still on from when I was trying to find someone at a concert the weekend before. Later that night, I was just scrolling through my feed, and I saw someone I didn't recognize had viewed my story. Their username was just a bunch of letters and numbers, G4Y5S1M. I didn't think anything of it. People view your stories all the time, right? Especially public ones. The next week, I was at school. It was Tuesday, and I had soccer practice after classes. I remember because it was unusually warm for October. I posted a snap from the field, just a quick boomerang of the ball. Later that evening, G4Y5S1 viewed it again. That's when I started to feel a little weirded out. It's not like my account is huge or anything. How did this random person keep seeing my stuff so quickly? I checked their profile, but it was completely blank. No picture, no friends, nothing. A few days later, I went to Wawa to grab a hoagie after school. It's like a 5-minute walk from my house. I snapped a picture of my order, Italian with extra pickles, my usual. Guess who viewed it? G4Y5S1M. That was it. That's when I got this really uneasy feeling, like someone was watching me. It couldn't be a coincidence anymore. I finally turned off my Snap map. I felt so stupid for leaving it on. I told my friend Sophie about it. She just laughed and said I was being dramatic. It's just some bot, Emma, she said. Or maybe someone you know with a weird username. But it didn't feel like that. It felt personal, somehow. I even blocked G4Y5S1M, but they could still view my public stories if their account wasn't private. And mine wasn't exactly locked down. I didn't have anything to hide, or so I thought. Then, last Saturday, my parents went out for dinner. I was home alone, watching a movie in the living room. Around 10, I got a notification. It was a snap from G4Y5S1M. It was a picture of my street. Just a dark, blurry photo of the houses, but I recognized the streetlights. My street. My heart pounded in my chest. How did they know where I lived? I ran to the window and peeked through the blinds. Nothing. Just the usual quiet suburban street. But I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. I checked Snap Map again, even though mine was off. I zoomed out as much as I could, trying to see if there was anyone nearby with their map still on. Nothing. It was like this person was a ghost. I remembered this story my older brother told me once, about these urban legends of people being tracked through their phones, leading to bad things. He mentioned something about the Wissahickon Valley Park and disappearances, making it sound like it wasn't just a story. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every little sound made me jump. Around 3 a.m., my phone buzzed again. Another snap from G4Y5S1M. This time, it was a picture of my front door. The porch light was on, the way my dad always leaves it. Below the picture, there was text. "You should lock your doors," I screamed. I ran to my parents' room, but they weren't back yet. I locked every single door and window in the house, even though I knew it wouldn't matter if this person was really out there. I called Sophie, sobbing. This time, she didn't laugh. She told me to call the police. When the police came, they took it seriously, but they said there wasn't much they could do since nothing had actually happened. They took a report and said they'd patrol the area more. but they couldn't trace the Snapchat account without a warrant, and they said getting one was difficult. I felt so helpless. It's been a few weeks since that night. G4Y5S1M hasn't sent any more snaps, and they don't view my public stories anymore. I made my account private now, but I still feel like I'm being watched. Every time I go out, I scan the faces in the crowd. Every unfamiliar car that drives down my street makes my heart race. I keep thinking about that picture of my front door. How did they get it? Were they standing right outside my house? Sometimes, late at night, I hear a faint tapping sound on my window. It could be anything, just the branches and the wind. But every time, I freeze. I pull back the curtain just a little, but there's never anything there, except for once. I thought I saw a figure standing across the street, just at the edge of the streetlight. When I blinked, it was gone. I don't know if it was real or just my imagination playing tricks on me, but I still check, every single night. And I still feel like someone out there knows exactly where I am. And that's the scariest part. It's been 2 weeks since Daniel disappeared. Just gone. No note, no calls, nothing. The police are saying it's a missing person case, but honestly, it feels colder than that. Like he just vanished into thin air. We're a close group. Me, Lena, Ryan, and Daniel. We've known each other since middle school. Practically grew up together in this boring little suburb of Chicago, near that old abandoned water tower on the edge of town. We've spent countless nights just driving around, getting late-night pizza, the usual stuff. Daniel was always the quiet one, a bit of a loner, but he was our loner. Now, there's just this empty space where he used to be. Then the snaps started. Randomly, a week after he went missing. Just pictures, no captions, no texts. The first one was a blurry shot of a street we recognized instantly. Elm Street, a few blocks from Lena's house. It was nighttime, the streetlights casting that sickly yellow glow. We dismissed it at first. Maybe someone found his phone and was messing around. But then another came the next day. This time, it was a picture of the inside of a convenience store we all go to. The one near the high school with the perpetually broken ice cream machine. Again, night. It started to feel wrong. Daniel wasn't the type to play these kinds of pranks, especially not now. We tried calling his phone, but it just went straight to voicemail. His parents were frantic, of course. They'd already shown the police the snaps, but they just shrugged it off. Said it could be old photos, or someone with his phone. But we knew. These photos felt current, like they were taken just moments before they were sent. One night, I was at home, trying to distract myself with a movie, when my phone buzzed. Another snap from Daniel. This one made my blood run cold. It was a picture of my living room window, taken from outside. My curtains were slightly open, just like I'd left them. I zoomed in on the reflection in the glass. I could see the faint glow of my TV screen. I was sitting right there when the picture was taken. I called Lena immediately, my voice shaking. She'd gotten one too, a shot of her backyard, the old tire swing we used to play on as kids swaying slightly in the breeze. Ryan had gotten one of the local park, the gazebo barely visible in the darkness. It was too much of a coincidence. How could someone else be taking these pictures at the exact places we were, or had been recently? We started piecing things together, talking late into the night, fueled by cheap coffee and growing fear. We remembered Daniel was always into weird stuff, urban legends, those creepy Reddit threads about disappearances and unexplained phenomena. He was fascinated by the stories of people who just vanished, leaving no trace. He once told us about a local legend, some story about shadows in the old water tower that could take people. We'd laughed it off then. The snaps kept coming, each one more unsettling than the last. A picture of the pizza place we always went to. The same booth we always sat in. A shot of the street sign outside Ryan's house. It felt like Daniel was watching us. But how? And why? Was he in danger? Was he trying to tell us something? Then came the snap of Lena's bedroom window. This time, the curtain was wide open, and we could see her silhouette against the dim light inside. She'd been in her room, reading. She swore she hadn't seen or heard anything. That night, none of us slept. Every shadow seemed to move. Every creak of the house sounded like footsteps. We decided we had to do something more than just show the police. They weren't taking it seriously. We decided to try and find the locations in the snaps ourselves, hoping to find some clue, some sign of Daniel. It was stupid, probably dangerous, but we were desperate. Ryan and I went to the convenience store Snap first. It was late, the parking lot mostly empty. Everything looked normal. But as we were leaving, I noticed something scratched into the side of the ice cream machine. A small, almost invisible symbol. It looked familiar, like something Daniel would draw in his notebooks. The next day, Lena and I went to the park. We walked around for hours, searching for anything out of the ordinary. The gazebo in the snap was just as we remembered it, old and slightly dilapidated. As we were about to leave, Lena spotted something tucked under one of the benches, a small folded piece of paper. It was a drawing, a crude sketch of the old water tower, the one Daniel was so obsessed with, and underneath it, a single word, C. We felt a shiver of fear mixed with a strange sense of hope. Could this be a clue? Was Daniel trying to lead us somewhere? We decided to go to the water tower that night. It's been abandoned for years, fenced off and overgrown. Everyone says it's dangerous, that the structure is unstable. But we felt like we had no choice. This felt like the only lead we had. Getting inside was easier than we thought. There was a hole in the fence around the back. The air inside the grounds was heavy, the silence broken only by the rustling of leaves. The tower loomed above us, a dark, imposing silhouette against the night sky. As we got closer, we noticed something strange. There was a faint light coming from one of the windows near the top. It flickered on and off, like a signal. Our hearts pounded in our chests. Could Daniel be up there? The entrance to the tower was a heavy, rusted metal door, slightly ajar. We pushed it open slowly, the hinges groaning in protest. The inside was pitch black, the air thick with the smell of dust and decay. We turned on our phone flashlights, the beams cutting through the darkness. The ground floor was empty, just concrete and debris. There was a narrow, winding staircase leading upwards. We hesitated for a moment, a sense of dread washing over us. But we had come this far. We started to climb. The stairs were rickety and covered in rust. Each step creaked ominously. The higher we went, the colder it got. The air felt heavy, like something was watching us. We kept calling Daniel's name, but only our echoes answered. Finally, we reached a small room at the top. The flickering light we'd seen from outside came from a single dusty lantern sitting on the floor. And then we saw him. Daniel was sitting in the corner, his eyes wide and vacant. He didn't seem to recognize us. "Daniel!" Lena cried, rushing towards him. But he didn't respond. He just stared straight ahead, a strange, unsettling smile on his face. We tried to talk to him, to shake him, but it was like he wasn't really there. Then we noticed the walls. They were covered in drawings, the same strange symbol we'd seen on the ice cream machine, repeated over and over again. There were also crude sketches of us, sleeping in our beds, walking down the street. It was horrifying. Suddenly, Daniel stood up. His movements were jerky, unnatural. He pointed towards a dark corner of the room. "They're watching," he whispered, his voice raspy and distant. "They showed me things." We followed his gaze, our flashlights trembling. In the shadows, we could just make out. Shapes, tall, gaunt figures that seemed to shift and writhe in the darkness. We couldn't make out any features, but their presence was suffocating, terrifying. Panic seized us. We didn't understand what was happening, but we knew we had to get out. We tried to pull Daniel with us, but he resisted, his eyes fixed on the shadows. "They don't want me to leave," he mumbled. We had to make a choice. We couldn't carry him, and we couldn't stay here. With tears in our eyes, we ran. We stumbled down the stairs, the sounds of our frantic escape echoing in the darkness. We didn't look back. We made it out of the tower, out of the fenced area, and didn't stop running until we were back in Lena's car, our bodies shaking, our breath coming in ragged gasps. We drove straight to the police station, our story spilling out in terrified fragments. The police went to the water tower, but they found nothing. No Daniel, no drawings, no strange figures. They said we were probably just scared, that our minds were playing tricks on us. They closed the case again. Missing person. Unsolved. But the snaps haven't stopped. They still come, randomly, at all hours of the night. Sometimes it's a picture of our houses. Sometimes it's places we've been. And sometimes it's a picture of the old water tower, the light in the top window flickering. We still see Daniel sometimes, in the periphery, a fleeting shadow. We know they're still watching. We know he's still there. And we know they'll be back for us too. Before heading to our next story, if you guys enjoying and this story gives you chill, then make sure to like the video, subscribe the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. This happened a few years ago when I was in high school. I lived in a small town, a suburb outside of Boston, called Belmont. It's one of those places where nothing ever really happens. Everything's quiet. I was walking home from my friend Ryan's house around 11:30 at night. My parents were away, so I had the whole place to myself. The air was cool, and the streetlights hummed. I wasn't really paying attention, just scrolling through my phone, listening to music. I was a couple blocks from my house, cutting through a shortcut on a side street called Ashford Road. It was lined with big, old houses with huge lawns. As I was walking, my phone buzzed. It was a Snapchat notification. I didn't think much of it and just swiped to open it. But the name wasn't anyone I knew. It was just a weird username with a bunch of random numbers and letters. The kind of account that's obviously a bot. I figured it was some spam thing, but then I saw the snap. It wasn't a picture of a product or anything. It was a picture of me. I mean, of my back. It was a picture of me walking down the street right now. I could see the backpack I was wearing, and the light from the street lamp was hitting the sidewalk just like it was a moment ago. My heart started beating faster. I looked over my shoulder. The street was empty. The houses were all dark. I was alone. I looked at the picture again, trying to figure out if it was a mistake or some kind of weird prank. The snap was still there, but a timer was ticking down. Just a few seconds left before it was gone forever. I panicked. I knew I had to save it. I pulled my thumb up to hit the save button. But just before my thumb touched it, the snap vanished. The screen went black. I tried to press the home button to turn the phone back on, but nothing happened. It was completely dead. Not just the screen, the whole phone. No light, no vibration, nothing. The music in my headphones cut out. The silence was loud. I held the dead phone in my hand, my mind racing. Who took that picture? How did they know where I was? I felt this cold feeling in my gut. I looked over my shoulder again, scanning the dark yards and the black windows of the houses. There was nothing, just the hum of the streetlights. I started walking faster, almost a jog. Every shadow looked like it was moving. I kept thinking about the picture, about how close the person had to be to get that angle, right behind me. I kept imagining someone watching me, walking just a few steps behind me the whole time. The image of me from the back was burned into my mind. I finally got to my street, and I fumbled with the key in the lock. My hands were shaking. I got inside, slammed the door, and locked it. I leaned against the door, trying to catch my breath. The house was so quiet, too quiet. My phone was still dead. I threw it on the counter and went to the living room, grabbing the landline. But when I picked it up, there was no dial tone, just silence. That's when I saw it, on the coffee table, a photo. It was a picture of me, just a moment ago, through the front window. It showed me standing there, leaning against the door. I could see my face, pale and scared, looking out the window, right at the person who took the picture. I saw myself holding the phone, my hand shaking, just like it was now. My blood ran cold. The picture was an instant print, like from a Polaroid, and the date on the bottom was the current date and time, down to the minute. I looked up at the window. It was black now, just a reflection of the dark room. But I knew someone was out there, in my yard, looking at me. They were watching me walk home. They were watching me come inside. They were watching me just now. I backed away slowly, my eyes locked on the picture, then on the window. I felt like I was going crazy. I could hear a faint sound from outside, a scratching, like someone was dragging a fingernail along the glass. I didn't know what to do. The silence in the house felt like it was pressing in on me, and I couldn't move. I just stared at the window, waiting. I'm still waiting. And the thing is, my phone is still dead. But I can't shake the feeling that it's going to buzz with a new notification any second. And I don't want to know what the picture will be this time.